So, the U.S. Supreme Court is trying to make it right for everyone, but the losers don't want it to happen. According to AP, the Supreme Court has struck down affirmative action in college admissions, declaring race cannot be a factor and forcing institutions of higher education to look for a new way to achieve diverse student body. Race can't be a factor. If you want everything to be the same, they got to earn it. It cannot be based on race. So for the U.S. Supreme Court is saying, as most normal thinking people know, is that you cannot get into a college because you're black. You got to earn it, not just because of your color. And you would think that the people would be happy, everybody would be happy that you got to earn it. It just doesn't come, you don't get it just because of your color, right? But there are people unhappy about that. And you would think that the blacks would be happy about that because as long as affirmative action is in operation, everybody, there's not one, know that the blacks get into white schools not because they're smart, not because they work hard, not because they have the ability, but because they're black. And even at graduation, when you see black kids graduating from universities and things like that, and they're happy they got a little piece of paper called degree, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, you didn't earn it. You got it because you're black. You didn't earn it. They had to lower the standard to let you in. Just because you have a piece of paper that says you're a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief, you didn't earn it. And we all know that. And you would think that the blacks would be happy that this is being taken away so that you have to earn your way, because dealing with the situations in life makes you a stronger person, a better person, smarter and everything. You appreciate what you have when you earn it. Parents buy their kids stuff all through young life. And then when they're about to go to college, for whatever reason, they buy them a car and all kinds of stuff. The kids don't appreciate it because it's not theirs. They didn't earn it. I want to show you some of the reactions to the good news. Watch this compilation.
To say that you can include a student's identity, the student, the person behind the papers and the grades and the test scores, that you're not allowed to include race, which is such an encompassing part of at least my identity as an underrepresented minority, it makes me feel upset.
They are reeling, they are devastated, and they're worried about what the culture, what the makeup of their classes, the future generations coming up behind them at Harvard, what they're going to look like in the future.
I feel like some racial minorities or identities and groups of people have had harder experiences in America and are not given the same opportunities as other majority groups.
That there are real-world examples where if you take race out of the equation in any way, shape, or form, it is very hard to reach these goals of diversity that colleges, either private or public, have set for themselves.
Are we going to be a country that embraces diversity for a global economy looking into the future, or are we going to be a country that's always looking to try to remake 1950s? And the 1950s is not a workable solution for this nation. And this is a Supreme Court that's looking to create that apartheid reality. Individuals are advancing because of wealth and the creation of wealth in the zip code that they was born into. Individuals are advancing because of a level of white privilege that you, I, and all of us here have been denied.
This is tantamount to sticking a dagger in our back because what they have said now is that it is unconstitutional to even consider race. And given the racial history of the country, let's not act like blacks are behind because there's something in our genes that made us behind. We were enslaved 246 years, and I think it is unimaginable not to consider race.
I want you to think about that. You have black people complaining, saying out loud to you that they can't make it on their own. They make it up. The 1950s when blacks were doing better than any other time because they earned their way back then. But just think about that. These people are mad because they have to do for themselves now. They got to earn it. Al Sharpton, the race hustler, said, it's unimaginable not to consider race. What are we going to do as black people if you don't let us in free? How are we going to survive? Isn't it interesting? Smoke on this. You don't hear white people or Hispanic people or Asian people or anyone fighting, trying to get into, even black people are not fighting, trying to get into black colleges. I wonder why. But everybody want to go to the white schools. I wonder why. New York Post. After affirmative action ruling, Biden urges college to weigh poverty and adversity. Watch this from MSNBC.
The court has effectively ended affirmative action in college admissions, and I strongly disagree with the court's decision. You know, I've always believed that one of the greatest strengths of America, you're tired of hearing me say it, is our diversity, but I believe that. So today I want to offer some guidance to our nation's colleges as they review their admission systems after today's decision. Guidance that is consistent with today's decision. They should not abandon, let me say this again, they should not abandon their commitment to ensure student bodies of diverse backgrounds and experience that reflect all of America. What I propose for consideration is a new standard, where colleges take into account the adversity a student has overcome when selecting among qualified applicants. It means understanding the particular hardships that each individual student has faced in life, including racial discrimination that individuals have faced in their own lives.
Amazing. Poor blacks. Y'all can't make it like Joe. Y'all need help. Y'all need affirmative action. You want us to come over there and cut your grass? Oh, you don't own any grass? You ain't got no house? And the blacks applauded. What a mess! And the men are worse than the women in begging. They're worse than the women. As a matter of fact, the black men are leading the way in begging and blaming and crying and moping and sitting around waiting for the white man. With my check, affirmative action now, affirmative action forever. What are you committed to?
Nothing.
And
nothing at all.
And when you say nothing, what do you mean and why nothing?
I mean, I'm not committed to my job, an idea, family, the gym, nothing. I mean, there's nothing I'm committed to. The reason I say that is because I realize that commitment is just a feeling. Anytime I make something too important, I lose it.
Amazing.
It's just all ego. So, yeah, no commitments over here. But then I was reflecting, I'm like, if I believe I'm committed to overcoming, Satan's going to use that against me. And then he's going to show me how I'm not overcoming and I'm not working on myself and I'm believing thoughts and blah, 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 blah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. But one last thing, if you don't mind, real quick,
yes.
I just wanted to update you on my daughter in the homeschool.
Oh, yes.
So I did pull her out of school last November. She never went back after Thanksgiving break. And then I was able to find a curriculum that I just pay for every month, and she does a self-paced learning thing. She's not really upset about it, but that's what we're doing, and nobody's telling me how to do it or what laws I need to follow. I'm just doing my thing, and when it's time for her to graduate, she's gonna graduate, and that's it.
You are you're better than the average black man. You're doing it
I ain't nothing,
yourself.
Jesse.
You're doing it yourself. That's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. And
Thank you. It took a while, but I'm glad I just figured it out, and
that's right.
We're figuring it out together. So
right on.
No excuses to these black people now. Excuse.
You
Take
have
the
made
kids out of the schools.
You have made my weekend. You're a perfect example of when a person takes control of their own life, there's nothing to stop them. She's taking care of herself and her child, homeschooling and working. Black folk, it's way down in there. You can do it. Come on. You can do it. You say it 3 times. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. It's Wise History Month. We gotta celebrate White History Month. The world gone crazy. Would you ever have a comfort buffalo?
I mean, I feel like back in the day, the good old days, they may have had that.
What?
Like Buffalo Bill and.
But still, in the good old days, men were not relying on animals to give them comfort.
It's true.
What?
That's true. They had dominion over the animals.
That's right. God said you had dominion. He said use of a comfort. You have a comforter. His name is the Holy Spirit.
You absolutely right. The girl that you had on the video clip of that black girl saying how she felt about affirmative action being cut and how that's part of who she is and all this other stuff. Like I told you, I had to catch myself yesterday because I felt like I was like, I've been saying all this stuff. But then when I heard that, the news came down and it was cut, I have to be honest with you. There was a small percentage of me that felt a little anxiety. You know what I mean? And I was like, where is this coming from? And this is one of those situations I think, like when you talked about, what I've learned from your show, where you step outside of yourself and you say, what is that feeling?
Yeah.
And where is it coming from?
Yeah.
And it's a feeling. It's not nothing but a feeling.
Yeah.
It's not what I believe. It's not what I've been preaching to my friends. It's a feeling.
That's
and
deep,
like
man.
the caller before you, that woman who was saying how Satan has come to her, and I felt like that yesterday, like somebody or Satan or somebody whispered in the back of my ear. You see what you did?
All right. Hey, man, I was just calling to say thank you for that silent prayer. I don't do it every morning, every night, but it slowed me down, man. It gave me an amount of patience that it was beyond me. It wasn't even an idea. I had no idea it existed. It's like a new reality. And
slow down, slow your roll. One step at a time, 1 minute at a time, one time at a time. There's no need to hurry.
I mean, I just want to know, what do you think it is? Because, you don't explain it. You don't go to detail. You're so vague. I mean, I know it's like your lack of education that got you the way that you are, but, people like details and, so they can understand. The more information that you get on something, the better you're able to understand it. You see what I'm saying? So
do you want perfect peace?
Oh, I told you before, perfect peace is dumb. You're not going to have perfect peace until you die.
Perfect peace, you say you're not going to have it until you die?
No, that is perfect peace. When you in order to be perfect, that means you cannot be disturbed.
Did you say that you're not going to have perfect peace until you die?
Yeah, I won't have perfect peace until death.
So then why do you want to know what it is since you know that you're not going to have it until you die? You seem to already know what it is. You said you're not going to have it until you die. So why don't you just wait until you die?
Because I want to pick your brain about perfect peace. You see, that's what I'm saying.
But why if you don't believe that you can have it until you die?
I mean, but I still like to have the knowledge, the information about perfect peace. You see, why? Because you talk about it all the time. Like it's like you talk about it all the time, and you know, like vocabulary words. You know, how
But
you ever
if
came
you
across the word
already
that you
know
didn't
the
know?
answer to it, you said you.
No, I don't. I don't know that. I don't know your answer. I don't know your version of it.
You
It's
said
like that's what I did. Okay, go ahead,
you said Jason from Buffalo said he's not going to have perfect peace until he die. That you can't have it now. So since you already know that, you already have your answer to it, right?
Yeah, I have my answer, but I don't have
so
your
do
answer.
you love living an anxiety life right now?
I have no anxiety. I smoke enough weed, and I keep myself. I do things that I like to do. I have like reprieves and stuff like that, so I don't get bogged down. So I don't have that anxiety, that stress.
Really? So you smoke weed and do stuff to keep from. You smoke weed and do stuff to keep yourself from feeling the anxiety that you have.
I mean, I don't have that. That's why I don't. I mean, that's the thing. I don't have the anxiety.
If you didn't smoke the weed and do things to prevent from feeling it, would you have it?
I mean, I guess like it's not really like when I was like going through anxiety, it was mostly done by stress. Cause I've been in car accidents. Like I've been in like 3 car accidents in like the past 6 years.
Were you high?
Past 7 years. No, I was not high.
Oh.
They were all other people's fault.
Oh, they were all other people's fault. Amazing. Yeah. What do you think? Are you still living in the basement of your mother's house?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm trying. I don't know. I think she like. I mean, it's like, yeah. I'm still staying there. It's like I don't want to go nowhere though. It's like I'm writing. I'm doing like writing now. Oh, that's something else. I'm like writing stories.
And you don't want to go nowhere.
Stuff like that. I mean, it's like I'm comfortable. I'm able to do like I'm writing stories and like movies and stuff like that, commercial ideas.
Yeah.
That was the problem. That's why he created affirmative action, because there were systems in place. Some schools just like even with qualified applications. You don't know the study that was taught. Like you don't know the study that was done before affirmative action. You got a minute? I can break it down for you like real quick. I don't know if it's like real quick. It might take a couple of minutes. I can break it down like the way.
You're not answering the question. I'm asking you. How did you feel now that the blacks have to
earn? Why you telling me how I feel and you tell people you're not supposed to feel?
It was a question.
I'm not going to answer. I'm not.
All right, bye. He want to argue. Remember he said he loved arguing? Now, all thoughts are all lies all the time. We have to, in order to live, you got to die from thoughts. So don't trust them.
That's the thing that kept me going throughout this time, realizing that when I had some anger or some negative emotion towards anyone that isn't me, even towards the death of my grandfather.
That's right.
I've kept repeating to myself that the pain, the suffering isn't me. The pain is mine because it is what it is.
Yeah, it's in the body, but it's
the suffering
not you.
Itself. Sorry?
It's in the pain is in the body because it comes from the mind, but it's not you at all. I promise you, it's not you. A woman is going viral for burying her recent deceased mother in her backyard. Watch this from TikTok. She buried her mama in the backyard. Talk about keeping mama close to you. Amazing. I can't believe that woman to bury her mama in the backyard. What the?
What the?
Talk about a mama's love. A mama's love is so special. My mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. Now she got to wake up every day, look in the backyard, and mama right there. Now she got to look at mama every day for the rest of her life, unless they make her move it. Who's going to buy that house and mama buried in the backyard? Mama dead, but long live mama.
What the?
This black female, so-called state representative, she is a so-called state representative. and she's standing up there on the floor cussing at the white folks because they want to bring back the police, fund policing. I want you to see what evil looked like. This was happening in the homes, and this is why the children and the black children and the black grandchildren lives are all screwed up. It ain't got nothing to do with white folks. It ain't got nothing to do with racism. No isms at all. It's because of evil women like this. This is from Fox. A debate over funding more policing caused Wisconsin State so-called Senator LaTanya Johnson to condemn suburban areas of her state. Watch this from WISI.
The suburbs. Because they don't know a goddamn thing.
Wow.
About how life is in the city.
Yeah, let's play that again.
The suburbs. Because they don't know a goddamn thing.
And the people just sitting there so quiet about it, they're scared to say anything. Can you imagine if a white woman has stood up and said, F the hood, F the inner cities, because they don't know a GD thing? What do you think would be happening today? Oh, Lord, not joy, Lord. Grandpa, tell me about them good old days when the world, it seemed like the world gone crazy.
What's your opinion on when Jesus said, I am the way, the only way, and the truth?
That's true.
Right? With me, I went from being a Catholic to just feeling like I was never good enough, like I'd go to hell if I died that day. And so over time, I just kind of let that go, and then I came back to it. And then I went to, like, spirituality, and then I was like, this isn't for me. So then I'm back at Christianity, and now I like the fact that, you know, the way that you talk about it, which is the silent prayer, and kind of don't, because I'll pray and stuff, and then I'll go off of my thoughts. Like, I'll hear a voice in my head, and I'm like, is that God? Now I'm getting confused. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Jesse, you are amazing. I appreciate all your work that you do. I love the interview with the Mason, the Master Mason. That was a great interview I watched.
Thank you.
And we're in Asheville. We're a Trump supporter, but we're actually really just a conservative Republican. We just want the America to do good. We want a better administration.
Yeah.
We just appreciate your voice out there for us and the stuff that's going on out here, how wrong it is for us.
What a mess.
Hey, well, first off, I wanted to say Happy White History Month.
Thank you, man. July just feels white.
Absolutely, that, and it feels hot. But I wanted to go ahead and say thank you, man. Since I started listening to your show maybe last year or so, and I've just noticed a tremendous change in my life, just applying some of the things that you've talked about, even from the silent prayer to especially forgiving my parents.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up, and it was, you know, everybody has their struggles, everybody has their situations that they go through growing up. But I grew up in a very angry household, and I realized, you know, I identified with that spirit for a very long time, to the point with earlier in my marriage, I was very angry, and I saw that same spirit feed on my wife as well. And last year I went and I forgave my mom and forgave my dad, and actually went up to them and told them that, and understood that no matter what came out of that, you know, that I was going to let them know that I forgave them, and I understood that they didn't know what else, that they could only do what they, you know, they could only do what they could only, sorry, my son is crying. They could only do what they knew.
Yeah.
You know, my mom didn't take too well to that. However, since then it was just love that I've had for her, love for my father, and It's benefited me tremendously as well. It's given me the patience to be able to deal with my wife's hell and help her, and as well as my kids. At the time, I had one daughter and didn't have a lot of patience, didn't know how to deal with a lot of things. Since then, I've seen the growth. I have a son now who's 7 months right now. And I just wanted to tell people, man, that just to follow the things that you say and the advice that you give is amazing. And I'm truly thankful for, being exposed to your show, but also being exposed to God's love. So I want to say thank you.
Right on, man. And stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And if you stay in the light, stay with the silent prayer and just watch those thoughts, the ego would die, the light would run the devil from you, destroy him, take him away. And Arthur, you ever see anything, man, it gets better and better and better. Stay with it no matter what happens outside of you. You stay and live from within, and it only get better. It cannot get worse. It can only get better. You got to become your own man. You got to become your own woman if you want to be free. There's no other way. The kingdom of heaven is within. Everything you're looking for, everything you want to be in real life, not just fake ideas and things you want to be, it's in you already. You got to let go and let it happen. And it's for every man, woman, and child that will receive it. But you got to let go. You must forgive. Forgive mama and or grandmama, whatever woman raised you, and forgive your father. You cannot love God or know God and resent your earthly father. You must forgive, and you shall be free. www.silentprayer.video or rebuildingtheman.com/church. You can get it there as well.